wearing this costume because I thought I would read you some of my African and Middle East poems.
Oh, right.
Right? So it's just there aren't a vast number. That one's a duplicate. And maybe I'm not sure whether I want to read both of those, but I should think about it. See how we go. So the first one I only decided to read as a result of a discussion that I had with David in the car on the way to pick up Catherine. So this is called Bethlehem 2002, and it was written in December 2002. So, at the length of 2,000 years, the Lord God commanded his only Son. Again, I say, thou shalt be made man, and return to the land of thy birth, to that place that is yet called Bethlehem. And so it was done. And Mariam, with her husband Yusuf, journeyed to the town of Bethlehem, to the A-land of Palestine, that their child might be born free. When they came, the inns were all empty, the roads closed to travellers from the west. The rubble was on the streets, the tanks on the hills, and the bulldozers were hungry for houses. When the child was born, hospitals were filled with injured. A curfew barred all access to the streets. Midwives denied attendance on the labouring. Cattle penned, and shepherds driven from the hills. The kings sat in their tents and talked of the peace process. In Bethlehem, a miracle was wrought. Children, trapped by a hail of bullets, caught them from the air and turned them to precious stones. Then, facing the soldiers and guns and tanks, they threw these jewels of hope back into the Holy Land. Unto Mariam a boy child was born, while the guns rang and flares lit the sky. Mariam and Yusuf named their child Shalom, that he might bring peace to the world. But King Sharon, hearing of this, was enraged, and ordered his army to search through the town for all the firstborn male children that desired peace for Palestine. The roads into Egypt were all blocked. Gaza surrounded by a desert of fear. Jerusalem lay divided under heaven. From oppression and hatred there was no escape. So in Bethlehem, in 2002, poor little Shalom failed to thrive. Thank you. And this one, I wrote last year on holiday in Turkey. It's called Sailing with Odysseus. Grab quiet. Sailing this evening across the wine-dark sea from Dalian to Ishmael, I could feel myself like Odysseus, dispersed and lost through the anger of Aphrodite after her beloved Troy was ravaged and burnt. These wind-driven billows, these precipitous hills, green and rocky as they plunge into the level sea, are surely the same that saddened his eyes as he searched for the shores of Ithaca. The descending sun would have marked his way. The golden glow of twilight over the long mountains would have saddened his heart as it does mine. I too curse Aphrodite and her careless interference with the hearts of men. Thank you. And this is called Africa. Out of Africa we came. Oh, cry Africa, cry Africa. Out of Africa we came when the world was innocent of tears and the land ancient, burdened by its silent years. In Africa, beneath the glowing blue and golden skies, in Africa was the first word spoken. Africa, now the land of lies. Oh, cry Africa, cry Africa. Africa filled the world, gave us her greatest gift, Out of Africa we walked, proud and free, out of Africa before the rift. How Africa filled the earth with her children, dancing and singing, dancing each continent in turn, till all the world was ringing. Filled a whole world with dancing, smiling faces, with the beauty of 1,000 different races. Oh, cry Africa, cry Africa. How did your children forget the steps of happy dance? How did they lose the smiles in each bright and loving glance? Why have their words lost their voice and melody? Has humanity's sweet song any sense of harmony? Out of Africa we came. Oh, cry Africa, cry Africa. And that was July 1988, in the middle of the apartheid struggle. Right. This one is called, it's a double century of death. And this is, there's actually 2 poems in it. Shall I read both?
Yeah.
Right. A double century of dead. First test, England versus Iraq. This was not a century to be proud of scoring. There were nervous 90s, no doubt, for those whose determined decisions and pusillanimous votes made the young men play on a pitch with such a vicious bite. Throwing away wickets in pursuit of victory might be the right tactic in a game of cricket, but throwing away lives in Pyrrhic wars of dubious legality and pitiful pointlessness will leave a carcass of dishonour for history to scavenge upon. At the least, language will profit from it. We have the Bush War, where you win all the battles but remain on the losing side, and the Blairism, a lie that changes from day to day, getting further from the truth with every twist of meaning. These 100 faces on a single page of newsprint make a poignant passing out parade. Their average age, 29. And too many of 20 or under. No! Too many of any age at all. Let there be no more centuries. No more games on foreign fields, no more solemn music on blustery airfields, only the sweet sound of willow on leather, whether England win or lose. First test, England versus Afghanistan. In cricket, a double century is a great achievement, but in Afghanistan they play by different rules. The wickets are all minefields and the bouncers are explosive. The spin is completely unpredictable. Their bowlers bowl underhand, and their close fielders are suicidal, while the deep fielders lie hidden in long grass and there is no boundary. 11 men against 1100 is the local rule, though the 11 defend their wickets and field all the tonkers with great courage, as one pinch hitter after another throws his bat wildly at the ball. The most vicious sledging fouls to distract them from their duty. It is all exciting stuff, but hardly entertainment. The crowd look on, mostly aghast. Some cheer on the sidelines and others stand pompously in the members' pavilion, muttering mealy-mouthed platitudes. A few, some 1,000 or so, are distraught with grief. In Afghanistan, a double century is a defeat. Thank you.